Father Anton, welcome.
Thank you very much.
So I would like to start off with a little bit of an introduction and we go over your background. First of all, I want you to tell us a little bit more about your journey in Guatemala. You've been there for quite some time. And what has led you to dedicate your life to serving these communities?
Well, I was in Guatemala the first time. It was 1993. That's a long time ago. I think you weren't born yet. And anyway, it was an incredible 1 year which I spent there. It was part of my formative formation to become a priest. And I didn't know anything about Guatemala, where I was going, where it was, nothing, absolutely nothing. You have to imagine yourself without internet, without Google, without knowing where to search where it is. So basically I was sent there to accompany another priest. I was still very young. I'm still young, but and I didn't know that it was civil war. And in fact, when I arrived in Miami, they started laughing. I told me, do you know where you're going? I told them, yes, Guatemala. But you know what's going on in Guatemala? Definitely not. And you should think about it. And I was really frightened getting down from the plane. But anyway, I immediately entered in the daily routine, meeting people. I didn't know not even one single word in Spanish, because it was impossible.
You probably speak it now fluently.
Even the bad words, you know. And I have been there now for 27 years, I think. And
wow.
I have changed some places where I was. I started where I was before. I was back in 1997. Then I was sent in the mountain, in the western mountain in Guatemala. Then 15 years ago I started in the tropical rainforest of Guatemala.
Well, you've witnessed some of the most significant challenges as well. I mean, 25 years is quite a long time.
Quite a bit, yes.
What would you say was the most challenging throughout these years for you?
Well, I would say it's almost every day challenging. When I wake up, it's going to be a challenging day, you know. But yes, when I had to go from one parish to another parish, from one side of the country to the other side of the country. In fact, the last time I changed 15 years ago, I opted to go to another more difficult area, which is practically a jungle. And I had to study a Mayan language. I had to study the culture. I had to incorporate myself in a new culture, new cultures, because there are in Guatemala there are 22 different languages, and they are Mayan languages and Garifuna, and well, I think that was the most part of the challenges. And to start new experiences and to try to accommodate yourself and focus and see what the urgencies are for the people you are taking care of, catering. So I believe that's what it is.
This is something that I want to discuss now. So moving forward, I want to talk a little bit more about some of the projects you're handling, as well as some of the people you're involved with. And I know you're into empowering, you've got a project for empowering vulnerable women. You're involved with it. They might be victims of violence or victims of exploitation. What are you doing to support these women and their children further?
Yes, what I have been seeing through all these years are, because of the macho culture, women are exploited, women pass through traumas, and nobody takes care of, not even the government. So it all started when I knew of a woman here in Gozo who has done this job in the 1960s when Gozo, we are both from Gozo, was still a very closed area, country, island. She started helping these young women who had kids out of wedlock. So it goes on during those days. It was something you have to not show, no? You have to keep it behind closed doors. And I talked to her. Her name is Maria Tard, and she started giving me what to do and helping us. And the idea was to how to help not women but adolescents who suffer from abuse, which is psychological, sexual, and all kind of word and all kind of abuse, no? And especially to take care of these adolescents who are pregnant and nobody takes care of. So it was a big deal. We started this 4 years ago. Not very easy. The idea is to have a small home to give these adolescents a future. How can they have their kids and continue to, through all this struggle, to face all the difficult times they have passed through, to pass through the trauma, to have, with the help of psychologists and social workers, they will try to heal themselves, heal their lives, and then try to find themselves with the family, back with the family. Of course, they are sent to our home through the court, because somebody says there is a child who has been abused or she is pregnant, and the court sends them to us, and we'll have to do a program. It's a very not an easy program.
So it's a very much, you can say, regularized environment.
Yeah, we are part of a government program. In fact, in Guatemala there are just 2 homes who cater for these adolescents from, we are talking 11, 12 to 17. We have had girls, 11-year-olds, who have had a boy or a girl, a child. Imagine that. A child taking care of a child. And up to 17, some of them have already been with us 1-2 years. Others just come from a few months and they are sent back. It depends. Every child has a story, a difficult story. I am not in it because I am not the expert. I started it, yes, but I keep it in the hands of those who are professional. I don't even ask what happened to them because it's not my business. It's not my. But when they arrive, they will start watching you, very afraid. What's going on? Where am I? What's going to happen to me?
Everything's so new.
Everything's so new. Then they will, after 2 weeks, hello, Padre, buenos dias, Padre. Then I will start talking to them. But it's nice. They become part of our family, you know.
From what I understand, you also help them become self-sustained.
That's part of my philosophy. Projects have to be sustainable, and those who come have to learn how to sustain themselves. It's not easy. Why? Because we are talking about a home which we don't have, not even 1 penny through the government. They are always on us. They are always coming to supervise us, but they don't even give. The government doesn't give us just 1 single penny. But anyway, we have got our projects to try to sustain these projects, and we teach these adolescent youths how to sustain themselves. We teach them, they have to continue their education. That's number 1. That's important. They do it either virtually, or we arrange for them to go to education and nearby schools, institutions. Then they can't work, they are underage, yes, but we teach them. We have some programs, people come to teach them how to do
textiles.
They have many programs, as I told you, I am not in it. But it's part of the program. I know that the manager there is doing all that possible so that when they go out, they will try to cater for themselves. Not easy in Guatemala, where women are still marginalized, where it's still part of the macho culture.
I want to move on to the next project, which is also a very specific project. This is the stove project. This is one of the projects that SiGMA will also be supporting you in. Here, people can sponsor clean stoves that will replace wood-burning stoves. Can you explain further what impact these stoves have on these particular families?
Now we know cooking it's part of our daily life. You can't change the way how they cook, obviously, but when somebody goes inside a small hut in Guatemala or around the world now, where these third countries are, you can't even open your eyes because there is so much smoke inside. They are cooking that you feel it. You can't even imagine those women who are every day, every hour, with all that smoke inside the house, cooking, leaving the wood burning, and imagine how the lungs are, no? So with the help of a person here in Gozo, who is a businessman, he told me, why don't you use clean stoves? I never heard about clean stove. What a clean stove? A clean stove is using always wood. We don't change because they can't use gas. So they always use wood, but 70% less. What does that mean? Less wood. Kids don't have to go 5 o'clock in the morning every day to cut wood, so they will do it with their father weekends. That's 70 less wood you are using. And number 3, it uses a chimney, and chimney means all the smoke can go outside, so it's 0% emission of smoke inside the house, which makes all the difference. We started with a few. We started manufacturing it. It was so difficult to manufacture these clean stoves. Don't think it was an easy thing. But then somebody saw it on Facebook. He was an Englishman living in Guatemala. He told me, I can do that, and I am doing it on a small scale. Would you like to show you a model? And I said, yes. He came, and that was about 8 years ago. And since then, we have already done more than 2,000 clean stoves all around in these remote villages. And we are doing I would say, a small change. In fact, it was part of, there are international meetings. The last one was in Paris against climate change, and our project was part of how you can help and using different methods, and combat climate change. Because
on such a large scale, I'm sure
it's
having a huge impact.
If you do it on a big scale, it can have a big impact. Obviously, we are small. We are doing it in a small area, but 2000 2,000 families using clean stoves. It's already a
Yes. To stay on the same topic of environmental concerns and environmental issues as well, you're also running a recycling project.
Yes.
Obviously, with this recycling project that you're leading, you aim to improve the lives of around 60 families. Obviously, they are families living in very poor conditions. Can you elaborate further on this?
You would ask me first, how many projects do you have? But generally, I try to find the persons who can do it sustainably. And this project we are just starting. We call it a garbage village. What does it mean? It's a place where all the garbage is... I live in this big area near the port, near the Atlantic, as I told you. And about 70-80 trucks every day go and they dispose of all the garbage in this area. There is no idea of recycling where I live. So everything goes mixed. So people, including a lot of children, go and start trying to recycle in those conditions. Now, imagine if it's too hot or if it's raining. It's 24 hours burning, because it's not something that started now. It's been 60 years now. All the methane and all the fumes that go out. Conditions which when you see the first time, it leaves an impact on your life. Because what's going on here? You see a lot of these birds flying, and it's like a competition who will get first the food. If it's these birds, scavengers, and all these people working, trying to find something or to eat or to
Juice again.
For me, it's difficult to talk about this, but I've seen kids, and I am doing this project because I've seen a 1 year and a half kid dying there because of an infection he had, and his father couldn't afford to travel 15 minutes away, to take him to hospital. So I said, what can I do here? If I just come and see, I would be like a tourist. And people here, they don't need tourists. We have to do something. Well, to make a big story short, I started to build some rooms where the idea is to do an alliance with a company. And I have already met with some companies. One of them is from Holland, who can do the recycling there, and the people can work with this company, and they can sell the plastics which they and everything they sell, they gather during the day to this company. Generally, people there have during one day they will get €4. Imagine, €4 for the day, under the sun, under the rain. With this company, it can they can have a better wage, they can do a lot of more money, and third, with the sustainability of this project, we can help the kids to have not go to work, and they can receive education in this small area which we have already built. So that's starting just right now, and we are hoping it will start. The ball will start rolling, and we'll try to see how it goes. So we are at the moment, finger crossed. It's something new. People are waiting for it, and I hope when I go back, maybe hopefully in the next month we'll start
seeing these improvements. Moving on to healthcare, you've mentioned that you've seen some atrocities that were not the best when it comes to healthcare there in Guatemala. You're also focused on providing healthcare to these impoverished areas through a clinic. Tell us a little bit more about the medical services there and what you're aiming to offer.
Yes, we just started a clinic thanks to one of the leading ophthalmologists here in Malta. His name is Dr. Franco Mercia. And he has been traveling to Guatemala for the last 2 years with a medical team to do what we call it a medical mission. They come and they operate what is glaucoma, cataracts, and even they have done cornea. They change corneas, you know. So it's an incredible work they do during 1 week. And Dr. Franco has been instrumental in doing this clinic, which we are just opening the first clinic right now. And now we are knocking the doors, and that's why we are here, so that we can open a second, not clinic, but a place where they can operate when these medical missions come. So we are at the moment trying, with the help of Dr. Franco, with his expertise and all the medical teams who have come there, to have a small area so that when they arrive they can do the operations better. Generally they operate almost 100 people, poor people, during 1 week. That means 20 people every day, with 3-4 doctors. We have been doing that for these last 2 years. Hopefully, if we manage to open a small theater room, clinic, things can be much better. We can have a laser machine and where they can operate with more success, you know. So that's why that's what we are hoping for. I am not the expert, but I'm keeping it in the hands of these experts, and I hope I can find the funds to make it a reality.
So this is also a call out to our listeners to help with the funds for this expansion of a clinic, basically. To close off, one last project, the container project, and I guess there's also a lot of urgent needs when it comes to this project. Tell us more about this, Father.
Yeah, definitely. A container is a sign of love, a sign of sharing, and a sign of generosity. So generally, every now and then, we have a small foundation here in Malta, which is helping me a lot. It's called Guatemala. It's the fusion of the two countries, Guatemala and Malta. So it's Guatemala Foundation, and it's a very small foundation. But through Guatemala Foundation, thanks to them, they have been sending at least one container every year. After COVID, we haven't been able to send a container. So a container, what does it mean? It means that people here in Malta can, or some companies, send maybe clothes, computers, and all good stuff which can be useful in our mission. And with those things we can help more the poor, because we are working with the poor people in the area where I live.
Father, what message would you like to share with those people who are watching, those people who are listening to us today?
Well, first of all, come to Guatemala whenever you like to come and see. Definitely many people from Malta and Gozo come. A lot of groups have been coming now and then. I hope SiGMA can do it, and I'm sure they will come. That's the first thing. Second, you can help us through Guatemala Foundation, and that will be a nice thing. And thirdly, pray for me, and I will pray for you.
Thank you, Father. One last question. What are your hopes for the future?
To see a much better Guatemala, which is it's such a beautiful, beautiful country, which hopefully one day it can become tourist friendly, and all the natural resources which there are, all the beauty, because Guatemala is called the eternal spring. It's the land of volcanoes, the land of trees. That's what Guatemala means, the land of trees. Hopefully one day we can see a much better Guatemala.
Thank you so much, Father, for joining us today. We're looking forward to seeing more of your projects, envisioning what will come out of them, envisioning a better future for Guatemala and for the rest of Malta, to be there to help you as well.
Thank you very much. God bless you.